Welcome back to the Your Girl Yaz podcast, the podcast to listen to if you're a female entrepreneur who's ready to attract more fun, more money, success, friendships, and amazing clients into your business. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope I can add some more positivity into your day in this episode. Today I have the lovely Carly Edwards on. And it's really, really random. I actually met Carly in Bali in a place called Ubud, and we met at a place called the Pyramids of Chi. And I have a mutual friend of hers, and I just loved her energy. I was like, she's amazing. We were just talking about like breath work and all of these amazing things. And I was asking what she does, and she works in human design. And I was like, I need to have her on the podcast because she's just a babe. So welcome on the podcast today, Carly.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here, and I haven't left. Where you left me, I'm still here. So if you hear roosters in the background, if you hear anything like that, it's Bali life.
Yeah, Bali life is a life, isn't it?
We never know what's going to happen, so we will do our best.
Oh, I love that. Well, it's so lovely to have you on. The theme of today's episode, everyone, is human design, because I don't know that much about human design, and I have people that ask me about it, and they're like, do you know much? And I thought it'd be really nice to do like a beginner friendly episode so people can understand and get educated, because I feel like everyone that knows their human design, it helps them have so much clarity in their life. So, maybe starting with a bit of an introduction of you and how this sort of path found you.
Truly, whenever I hear that, I'm like, perfect. If you don't know anything about human design, neither does 98% of the population. So you are definitely not alone. Human design is a really new modality, I will call it. And it's only really been around since the 80s. So not knowing about it is absolutely totally fine and normal. But it's really exciting that the conversation is opening up to speak more about it. And when I tell people, I'm a human design reader, they're like, you design humans? I'm like, no, you're already designed perfectly. So yeah, it's a really exciting modality, and human design, for the most part, I really want to make this clear, is an experiment. It's not something that you are or you need to aim to be. You already are. It's something that you get to play with. So I found human design around 3 to 4 years ago, and it found me. I was in a dark place, as we all were. I was in Melbourne in COVID, locked up, and we had just been kind of let out to do outdoor activities. And I don't know what it was like in the UK, but it was very brutal in Melbourne. We copped it.
Yeah, wasn't Melbourne one of the worst in the world?
Yeah. So, yeah. And during that time, I lived alone. I was alone. So coming back out into the world was a huge thing. And I came back out into the world and I went hard with breathwork. Breathwork had just kind of exploded in Australia. And on the weekends, we were doing this class called Cold and Conscious. And we were doing breath work and ice baths, and it was really the only thing that we were allowed to do because, number one, we were outdoors, and number two, we could distance from one another. And from then, we created this really beautiful community of like-minded humans who just needed to connect. And we would sit on the beach afterwards for hours because we didn't want to go back and isolate. We wanted to talk. And this discussion of human design came up, and someone said, oh, you need to go and get a reading. And I had the same reaction. I was like, oh, what, they design humans? But there was something about it that really, really interests me, and still does, and still really interests me. And I got a reading with a guy that was at the time known as Cool Mel, and he was this majestical man that looked like a wizard. And yeah, that's when my journey started with human design. Everything clicked that first meeting that I had with him, I was like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense to who I am, the way that I work, the way that I make decisions, my energy. So yeah, that's how it found me.
Wow, what a beautiful story as well, because I just think I really loved what you said where it found me, because same with me, whenever anyone's like, how did you get into mindset coaching? That's so random. I'm like, generally found me. Like a friend sent me a course and was like, you need to do this. This needs to be your life path. And I was like, oh, okay, let's do it. Let's start the ride. So I really, really hear that of like these things do find you sometimes. And you know, diving deeper, how did this change your life?
So, human design, you can go so many different directions with it. I was always somebody who really questioned
Mm-hmm.
myself, just in general as a human. I would always question the
Mm.
decisions that I was making. So, when you figure out your human design, you get a blueprint. So, human design is what I like to call an energetic x ray. And it's the way that I explain it to newbies. And it's like astrology, but it's your own inner astrology. And what it shows you when you pull up your chart
Mm-hmm.
is the environments that you work best in, how you're supposed to communicate with people, your aura, the way that your energy output is best. And I just started playing with a few of these different things in my design, and I was like, oh, actually, you know what? I do feel much better. And from then you add on. It's like mindset. You start with one thing, and then you kind of master that one thing, and then you add on from that and add on from that and add on
Mm-hmm.
from that. And then 4 years later, I'm now doing readings for other people, and this is my life.
Wow, that's so amazing. And I think it is so true. It's like, I think sometimes when you open yourself up to one of these things, it's like, oh my gosh, you go down a hole. It's not a rabbit hole, the opposite, but it's like there's so many layers, isn't there, to it? And you're like, wow. And it does take years.
Oh, it is a
Yeah.
rabbit hole.
I don't want to say it.
It is 100% a rabbit hole.
But yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, okay.
It's the best kind of rabbit hole, though. Very exciting. It never ends.
Yeah, I feel the same. So I'm really excited to, dive in, because there's so many amazing things. And I just love that human design's your thing and you're so passionate about it. So for anyone listening, where can they start, or even why should they start looking into their human design?
So, human design is going to become so
Yeah.
huge, especially coming into 2027. We're having some big astrological changes. We're having some big changes in the world. And I'm sure that if you take a look around out your window, you can see it happening. Things are shifting and changing in this world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that human design does, it gives you inner authority. And what I mean when I say inner authority, it means that you as a human, as an individual, has purpose here on this earth. And when we think about energy, nothing is ever wasted, right? There is a reason that each and every single person is here on this earth at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And each one of us is here for very different purposes. And that's a really beautiful thing that human design can show us. And when I say that things are shifting and things are changing, in 2027, we actually end a 400-year cycle. And
Ooh.
this 400-year cycle is coming to an end. Yeah, it's big. Did you feel it? I felt
It's
it.
like, woo.
Yes. So for the last 400 years, we have been in the energy of planning. And if you look around, you can see it. Businesses have been created, industries have been made, governments have been created, things have been built. We've been in like a building phase of humanity. And when we think of it as a big picture thing, as humanity, as uh, like life force, we've been building things out. Things are built. we're kind of done here. We've done enough building. And we're moving in 2027, we're moving into individual circuitry, which means businesses are changing. People are stepping away. There are more and more entrepreneurs. People are finding passions, and it doesn't have to be a side hustle anymore. It can be your life's work. And yeah, people are really stepping into their individual essence and into their individual talents, and going to be incredibly successful from doing that. And you will see it. You will see businesses crumble. You will see governments failing. And you will see individual people stepping up and taking the lead, which is really exciting. And human design goes very, very deep. And it will tell you your prophecy here that you're supposed to kind of live by in a way, but it's already happening. So the more we learn about ourselves and the more education that we have about ourselves, the less lost we will feel when this all happens.
Oh my goodness, I literally could just relate to so much of that. And even if you look at things like Apple or like Bill Gates or like this building hustle culture, and it feels like that is like icky now. Like if anyone's like, you need to, like, yes, we work hard as entrepreneurs, but like that sort of energy of just like build, it is literally like at that tether, isn't it? It's holding on by that tether of like,
Oh,
no, this
yeah.
is not aligned anymore. So it's like, wow, really, really entering a next chapter. And what does that mean then in 2027? I'm like, woo.
Ooh, it's exciting, and it's the unknown. It's exciting for each
Mm,
individual. It means that we no longer need to have role models that we look towards. We become our own role model, and we become our own authority, and we have our own flair and our own excitement about life. And this will particularly as interest you a lot because I pulled up your chart and
yay. I'm so excited.
yeah, which is really exciting. And I'm going to give you like a little mini chart reading, which is really exciting. I literally looked at it for like 10 minutes and I was like, it makes so much sense why you're doing the work that you're doing. And when I speak about individual circuitry, this is you. So your incarnation cross, and this is your prophecy in life. So this is something that's already happening for you. You don't have to aim for it. You don't have to do it. This is a life theme or a core theme in your life is individualism. So you are really
Yeah,
here
that
to
looks
not
that's
only
about right.
shine a light on you being an individual, but you're here to give a platform to people as individuals. And I'm like, oh my gosh, of course.
Yes, that's literally me.
So, speaking more into this and the shifts and changes that we're seeing in the world, so you are a projector, and people hear the word projector and they're like, oh, I'm not projecting anything. But projectors, bye. Projectors are
Okay.
so special and so needed here in the world. So there are 5 types, energy types or auras that we on Earth as humans have right now. And I might just go through them, right? So we have manifestors, we
Yeah.
have manifesting generators, we have generators, we have projectors, which is you, and then we have reflectors. And projectors, so they say, are the newest energy type. And you guys are here to rest. And this is such a nice thing for society to see. It's that we can be successful and well rested because this is not the programming or the conditioning that we have been taught. So when we think of like medieval times, there wasn't time for rest. We were going out and hunting and in survival mode, and we needed to survive. But because that energy has shifted and changed, projectors have been born into the world, and more children these days are projectors, which means the less they do, the more they get out of life. And I'm sure that you will feel it. And if you start experimenting with your own human design, the less you do, the more will come to you naturally. The more you push and the more you kind of really go hard at things, and the more resistance that you will feel. It's like you draw people into you very, very naturally. And that's a shift that humanity is really having. It's these natural talents that are drawing people in. And you and I have very, very different energy types, which is a really beautiful thing. And we can both see one another's point of view. And as I said, each individual person has such a specific path that we're here to do.
Oh my gosh, I found all of that so interesting because I was actually away last weekend and I pulled a card and it was like rest. And I'm not gonna lie, I keep pulling cards and they keep saying rest, and I'm like, I'm resting, but I'm also running a business and
Yeah.
I've got a lot to do. And it's like this deep, like, I'm trying, but at the same time, I'm like, it's just felt a bit confusing because I'm like, but I am resting, but I feel like I need to push. And like, I've just got back from traveling and all of this stuff. So hearing that's so interesting because it feels like a deeper wake up call of like, you don't actually have to, you can. Like, it's just helped me really feel like I could experiment with it a bit more. So I find that so interesting.
And human design, every single client that I have, I've done so many human design readings now. And every single time people are like, oh my gosh, that has just given me so much permission to just try it out. And yes, being a business owner, we need to show up, of course.
Yeah.
But projectors in particular, you're really here to guide people. So does that look like you outsourcing something that's really draining you? Does that look like only showing up to the things that make you feel really successful? And success as a projector is going to be your biggest takeaway. When you're feeling successful, those are the things that you go towards. When you're feeling frustrated and bitter, they're things that you need to guide other people and outsource, or let other people step in. And projectors can be those people who are highly conditioned. So when we pull up a body graph, we have 9 centers. So do you know much about like the chakra system?
Yes, a little bit. Like different chakras.
Exactly. So in the chakra system, we have 7 chakras. And in the human design system, we have 9 centers. They're very similar things, but they're very specific to your body. And when I say body, I mean your internal workings and mechanisms. And projectors are some of the most open people in the world, which means that your centers are very, very open. You have specific closed centers as well, which we will get into. But your centers as projectors and reflectors have no closed centers. You're very open, which means it's great. You're here to learn a lot, but it also means that you can be highly conditioned to the world around you, to your family, to the systems around you. And there's a lot of lessons here for projectors in particular, and learning to rest is one of them. Every single time it's like, no, but I've been taught that I need to show up to a job 5 days a week and that's the way to become successful, and that I need to have this amount of money in my bank account to feel safe, and so many things. But a lot of that, and this is what human design will show us, is a shadow and it is a condition.
That's so interesting. And I do really, really relate. I'm like, yeah, like with the conditioning, like I grew up and I went straight into working in sales from 16. So I was on the phone for 10 hours a day, like from a 16-year-old, working in London in a big office. And, it's so interesting to hear because I have been so conditioned like that. So for me, running a business, it's amazing because I get to do everything my way. But at the same time, you do have the conditionings of like,
Yes.
I need to, especially coming back to England. I feel like when you're traveling, it's like free, but when you're home, it's like, okay, am I
You're a bit
working
more
5 days?
free. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is like that. So that's really interesting. I'm like, you've got me hooked. I'm like, oh, tell me more.
I know, and that's what it's like. Once you learn one thing, it's you just need to know more.
Yeah.
And yeah, there is never ending learning with human design. And really, as I said in the beginning, it's an experiment. You try it out. If it doesn't work for you, you leave it. You try something else in your chart. You see if that works for you. But when I say rest, particularly for you, I don't mean sleep. And I want to make that really clear. Rest doesn't mean sleep. For projectors, rest might mean not having a 50-step morning routine at 6 a.m. It might mean waking up to no alarm and then going on with your work. Or it might mean finishing work at 3 p.m. and then going and doing a stretch or a yin class. Rest doesn't always mean stagnancy. And that's something that we're also conditioned. We think that rest means stopping, and rest doesn't necessarily mean stopping at all.
Yeah, and I think that's really a nice reminder because I definitely can relate. Like, I feel like, I don't know, when I'm happiest sometimes is when I don't have a big morning routine now. I get up and I'm like, what does my body need? And if it's like a nice
Yes.
walk or a bit of Pilates or just having a cup of tea and reading in bed, just whatever feels good for me. And I have really, really tried, like, not tried, but I've done a lot of experimenting with what works, but it's really nice to have this solidified because I think it does give you that, like, okay, I can just slow down. Yes, you're a projector. The best thing for you to do is to rest, is to slow down. So this is really, really interesting, and I'm like, ooh, thank you.
Of course. Yeah, this is like my bread and butter. I love giving people permission. And it's
hmm
nothing new, right? This is something that you feel internally already. I'm not actually giving you any new information. This is just like, oh, this is what I've actually been feeling, and somebody is saying it out loud.
Yeah, it is. So diving a bit deeper then, into the rest, and you also mentioned around like how there's so many more projectors coming up these
Yes.
days. What else does that mean?
It means that businesses are changing. As I said in the previous like questions, it means that our lifestyle is changing as well. We have more time, we have more freedom, we have more space, which is really a beautiful thing. Now, for me, I'm a manifesting generator. So I'm a hybrid
Okay.
between two. So this is where it gets kind of niche and it might be a little bit confusing. So for somebody like a projector, you have closed circuitry in your head for the most part. All of you have so many ideas. There's always things going on in your head. Um, and for me, not so much, right? Like, yes, I'm getting ideas, but for most of the time, they're other people's ideas. Like, I'm not actually producing them myself. I live from the body. So I live from my gut
hmm
response and I live from my emotions. And this is what I mean when I say that we're all here for such different purposes on earth. And so your prophecy or your incarnation cross is individualism. Mine is tension. And when
Okay.
okay, girl. When I saw that my incarnation cross was tension, I was like, oh no, like I don't want to bring tension to the world. But when I reframed that, I was like, tension is so necessary. Like we need a little bit of tension for change sometimes. And I'm also a breathwork coach. I create tension. I coach people into feeling tension so that then they can release it. So from learning your individual talents and gifts, this is where the change comes. It's reframing how you feel about things. It's reframing rest. It's reframing chaos. It's reframing mindset. It's reframing so many things. And that's also something that about your chart with your closed centers. So you have four closed centers in your chart. You've got your head, your ajna, which is the top centers in your head. You've got your throat, which means you love to talk and you can talk all day, same as me.
Yeah.
And you have your spleen. And this is one of the newer kind of circuitries as a projector, whereas your base is on instincts. So when we first met and you had that instinctual pull, you're like, I want to know more about this girl. That is your human design in action, which is so amazing. And I also have that. So we all share a lot and we all have a lot of differences as well, which is the beautiful thing about humanity. And especially as somebody who travels, like you've seen it, we can live completely different worlds. We can live in completely different homes and statuses and so many things, but there is something that always brings us together. We can always connect in some way, which I find really beautiful.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. And from traveling, like you said, you do, and I know living in Bali, you meet so many different types of people. Do you ever find yourself like trying to work people out?
Do you know what the great thing about Bali is? Everyone knows their human design, yes. Like, who are you?
Yeah, yeah, that's so true.
But most of the time I try
Oh,
and
it's so
guess.
true.
And just from working with so many people with their human designs, I can kind of pick it just from the traits and how I feel around them. Sometimes I'm completely wrong as well, which is great too. But yeah, a lot of people here know their human design, which is really exciting. And it just means that I can have these conversations all day, every day, which is great for me because I want to talk about it all day, every day.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. So going back to so far I'm just picking up on what I've learned about me. So I am
Yeah.
a projector, so that means that I benefit from rest, and it doesn't always mean sleep. Lots of things like yoga, and I think for me, like
Yes.
time off my phone, slow mornings, and intuitively learning that like when to switch off and when to just be like, Yaz, you don't need to do more. So I feel like that's coming through as a big lesson for me, of like a lesson and also like an understanding that that's what's going to really benefit me. So that's amazing to know. Also, that one of my themes is individualism. So I'm helping people, and I guess as a coach, I'm helping people really step into themselves. So that's so empowering for me to know, because it makes me drive forward on wanting to really help people and
Yes.
help them find themselves. And I feel like, I don't know, I've gone into the theme of working with girls running businesses, and I think it's a different kettle of fish, because when you're running a business you have to really step into yourself, and if you any limiting beliefs, any niggles, they come out into the open, because if you don't sort of work through them, then they can sabotage everything. So that's really interesting for me to help people with that. So that's where I'm at so far with my human design. That's what I've picked up on so far. How are we doing there?
We're doing great. You've remembered so much, which is amazing. And, after this, I will send this all to you as well. And yeah, we can have a play around with it and yeah, see what works for you and see what doesn't. The other thing that I do want to touch on with human design in particular, it's a whole different way of doing shadow work. Okay. So, shadow work is also a huge part of the way that I work with human design. And not every reader will do this. A lot of people will just work with like the light of human design and, this is your gifts and this is your talents and this is what you're here to do. But for me, I really like to tap into where people's shadows are and where their unconscious conditioning can come in as well. And we can't do that without other people, which is a great thing as a coach. And I'm sure that you see this all of the time. It's like coaches need coaches as well. Like we have shadows behind us that like often we're not seeing, but in your human design chart, they're laid out right in front of you. And it's like, oh, okay, so this is where my conditioning is, my open centers, where I'm really taking in the world around me. Am I then releasing that? Or am I then holding on to that and acting as though it's mine and living in this world like it's mine? So depending on our conditioning and who we're around and who we spend our time with is the different conditioning and the different shadows that we'll have. But we also have genetic conditioning also, which is a really cool thing and a really interesting thing to get into with your human design. It's seeing those shadows and seeing what you can then release, what is not yours, which is really like a magical part of it and such a gift.
And when you talk about the release, it's something that I like talking about a bit more on the podcast. Is like the not it's not a darker side, but it's like being able to let go and release. So let's say someone is going through their chart and or even they were talking to you and they learn around what they want to let go of and release. How can people release these things?
So many
Basically.
different ways, yeah. So I work with the body, I work somatically, and I work with the nervous system. And I fully believe that without being able to regulate your own nervous system, you cannot kind of implement your human design the way that it's supposed to. You have to be able to feel some form of safety in the body to then be able to receive the messages that your human design is bringing you. Otherwise, messages will get very screwed and skewed, and you won't really be able to trust yourself. If you're living in fight or flight or freeze constantly and you're trying to implement your human design, things are going to get incredibly confusing. So for you, Yaz, when I pull up your chart, I know that things like meditation and mindfulness, they're really grounding practices for you to bring you back into yourself. I know that speaking out loud to friends and family and kind of expressing your thoughts, they're releases for you. And then when I also look at your chart, you have an open root center. So our root is the base of our spine. This is our grounding. And this can be a shadow because this is pressure. The root and the head are pressure. So for you, it's going to feel really confusing when people are saying, "Where do you want to live, Yaz?"
Yeah.
Do you want to settle down?
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
And you don't know. And we're so, I know you don't. I've read your chart. And
I don't. I have no clue. I'm like, I don't know.
and the great thing about this is you're not
I'm just here, just
do.
doing me.
You're here doing you, and that's so beautiful. But I read charts
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, hey, you can actually release that pressure to figure out where you want to be because you do not have a closed center there. You can be so open to the world around you, and you can do the grounding practices that work for you. Maybe just going out and being barefoot on the grass will bring you a sense of security. And that is something that we really need to teach ourselves when we have open centers. For me, I have very open head. I have open head and open ajna. So for me, the same thing. I need to limit the access of information that's coming in because otherwise it gets very confusing. What are my thoughts? What are their thoughts? I don't know. So turning off the phone, tuning into my own authority, which is my gut. Where is my gut taking me? And yeah, it's very cool, very niche, and so many paths that you can take with it, but very exciting.
Yeah, and I think this is really, really beautiful because I was talking to one of my clients yesterday about how there's just so much, like, you're getting loaded with so much information all the time, and it's just overwhelming, and it's so nice to be able to. I'm so much more focused on learning about me, and I want to, yeah, take a little
Mm.
step back from like consuming and really tune into myself and what, yeah, I said to myself, this chapter is about learning about me and not always doing the easy things, like being able to set boundaries and, yeah, really, really do things from a place of what feels good for me. And oh my gosh, that makes so much sense because the amount of people that have said to me, so when are you going again? When are you off? How long are you here? What are you doing? you gonna get a boyfriend at some point? I'm like,
You're like,
I don't know. I just keep listening to it's by Olivia Dean. It's like, I don't want a boyfriend. I'm just like, just really happy.
I don't want a boyfriend.
That's literally me right now.
Yeah.
So it's and I'm happy with that. And it's sometimes it makes you doubt yourself sometimes because it's like, should I want to have a house and all of this because coming back to the UK. And I'm like, no, I don't. I have
Yes.
no idea what's next. Like I said to myself, I'm going to spend 6 months at home to really focus and enjoy just being in one place. And then I don't have a clue what's
Yeah.
next. But that excites me. I love hosting retreats because I get excited by bringing everyone together. I get excited by going to new locations. And I don't know if I ever will be someone that wants to just settle, and I just don't know. So it's really, really lovely to hear that. And I think it's so good in this day and age because the the underlying sort of pressures are still there. That is still like,
Mhm.
go get a job, do this, do this. And it's not as prominent, but I guarantee there's so many people that are feeling these pressures and it's like a massive weight on their shoulders and they can't like shift it, they can't release it because they don't understand. And same with me, it's like, why don't I want to, I actually thought last night, like my brother's been in a lovely relationship for ages, I've been single for ages and I'm really happy, and I was starting to think like, should I be looking a bit more? And I'm like, oh, it just doesn't, it's just not for me right now. So yeah, it's really interesting and it helps you have so much clarity. So I'm already so grateful for this on my Wednesday morning.
You are so welcome. Yeah, what a way to start the day. Just have a little mini design reading.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I just feel like there's so much people can learn from it. And I guess I would love to ask where people can start. Like, would you recommend them reaching out to you, or looking something up online? Where would you start there?
Absolutely. So there are so many different ways to start. You can 100% start this journey on your own. There are a lot of different places that you can pull up your own chart for free online. The ones that I would recommend are Neutrino Design and My Human Design by Jenna Zoe. They're both amazing and they're both my mentors and teachers that I have learned from. So I highly recommend them. When you pull up your human design chart, though, for 99% of people, you're going to look at it once and be like, oh, I don't understand any of this, and then never look at it again.
Mhm.
So if you are one of those people, I highly recommend getting your chart read by a professional, somebody who knows what they're looking at and can actually put it into a practical way of you using it, because it's all well and good to have the information, but if you can't use it in your day-to-day life, it's just going to float around in your head and sometimes, more often than not, become more confusing. And what I see so often with human design is there is so much information, Yaz. So when we overload our brains with so much information, we're actually not implementing anything.
Mhm.
So when you work with a human design reader like myself, I can give you steps to start implementing it. And so the way that I have figured out that works the best, or the most practically, we do a foundation reading. So this is going to give you your energy type. It's going to give you your aura. So how you're moving around in the world, how people are feeling you in the world, which is really interesting and really exciting. It's also going to give you your strategy. So how to make decisions, and then your authority. So where to make decisions from in your physical body, which is really cool. Um, and then it's going to give you actual somatic tools to be able to then implement that into your life. So this is a daily practice, but it's not something that you need to sit down and meditate on for 45 minutes. It's something that's happening in the moment. And particularly with communication, communication is a huge thing in human design. It really teaches you how the best way to communicate with the world around you, not just with individual people, but how to interact with the world and how to move in the world, which is really cool. So that's all part of a foundation reading. We then have an advanced reading, which we really get deep into the energetics of your chart. And then I have a mentorship also. So if you're somebody who's feeling really stuck and you know that your nervous system is frazzled, but you're still interested in implementing your human design, that is where we actually spend a lot of time working on the nervous system. We do breath work, we do trauma release exercises so that your vessel or your body is then able to receive the information that human design is giving you. So there are a few options there for people who are interested in getting started with human design. I never recommend ChatGPT to do a human design reading because I have people talking to me and they're like, oh, I did it. And I was like, that's actually not what that means at all. So let's go to a professional.
100%. I feel like
Yeah.
that would be my last thought, going to ChatGPT.
It's
I
also
feel
all the
like
information.
yeah, honestly, and I feel like I know from meeting you and speaking to you, you've spent so many years now. This is like your life's path of dedicating to helping people, and you spoke to so many amazing people. And even for me, I'm like, I'm hooked. I need to know everything. I need to like learn. So I'm really, really excited because I feel like this chat is such a beautiful opener for me, and I'm sure so many listening, of like how it can really impact. And I feel like it's really nice to use my story because even as a mindset coach, I've done a lot of the inner work, but this is a whole new field. And for me, it's like helping me understand how I work and how I can, because it's not a one shoe fits all in this world, and it can feel like that sometimes. So it's just going to really, really help me going forward, learn what practices are going to help me, learn when I'm feeling overwhelmed, what I need to do, and give me that permission to pull back, learn how I can truly, like I believe as the type of person I am best like doing the things that I love and passionate about. That's why I've got a podcast manager and a retreat VA, and like
Yes.
I feel like I need these people because I'm really good at showing up and being all singing, all dancing. But sometimes the behind the scenes I know I need support with. So it's so lovely for me to have this like chat around what is going to help me, because there's still so much life to be lived, and I'm like, oh, that's just so helpful. So even from my perspective, I can't wait. I'm definitely going to book in with you because I feel like I need to learn more. So
There's so
yeah,
much.
I'm just so intrigued.
And the way that you have
Yeah.
just explained that and set up your business and your life where you have kind of let the ego down and said, hey, I actually need to outsource or I'm going to get burnt out. This is your design. And this is the thing about human design that really changes from like astrology or tarot and things like that. It's like you're already doing it. It's just the permission that we need sometimes to be like, you're on the right path, you're doing the right thing. And sometimes we're not on the right path, of course, we're going down the wrong path. And that's when we start to see things like chronic fatigue, autoimmune disease, complete nervous system dysregulation. And there's deeper things going on there. But when you're just feeling a little frustrated in life, particularly human design can really help you out. And it's small shifts, like having a VA and not having to do those like back end procedures. You will already feel so much more energy and life force just from like offloading that task so that you can show up as your authentic self. And that's what's so exciting. It's the permission, and you're already doing it, but it's like, okay, here it is in writing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think because there is so many like different direct, there's so many pools and so many people saying things, and it's just so nice to come back to what's like your human design and what is best for you. And I just find it so fascinating. And yeah, I think the biggest thing that I've taken away is it's like a release for me, even hearing these things, because it just helps you like get to know yourself on a deeper level of like, well, that makes sense, and stop beating yourself up, because sometimes like even for me I beat myself up because I'm like, why can't I be really really organized, or why do I do things the night before? But I think it's because for me, like I'm in the moment, I'm there, I'm like I don't know, I'm not as behind the scenes planned 3 years in advance. So,
Yes.
I just think it's really, really nice to have that clarity that that's not me. It's just generally like there's things that I'm amazing at that other people would struggle with. So
100%.
yeah, it's just having that clarity. So yeah, I'm going to leave your links in the show notes. So anyone that wants to come to you, I just highly recommend, because I feel like I don't know, you've got like, I think there's a lot of people in this industry and world that say they're coaches or do things, and you know, there's a lot of that. And I just think from your energy speaking to you, you've done the work. Like you really, really, this is your pride and joy. And I think, yeah, I can't wait to go to you and also welcome other people to have that space as well, because it's just amazing.
And the work never ends, Yaz. We will continue.
We
We
will.
will continue.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
Well, last thing, I wanted to hear if there's anything exciting coming up for you, anything that you are excited about in life, in business coming up.
There are so many exciting things. So, for me, I feel really excited working in mentorship with people. I really love the clients that are coming to me at the moment. In particular, I'm working with women, and this has just been something that's very naturally happened for me. Working with women, number one, on their nervous system, and number two, just on their authority, being their most confident selves. I love it in any kind of capacity. I am a manifesting generator. So that's something that I touched on a little bit before, but manifesting generators, we're supposed to do a lot of things and be very good at them. So I have a foot in the door a lot of different places. At the moment, I am learning aquatic bodywork, which is like so exciting for me. And for me, as a manifesting generator, if I'm not learning, I'm very stagnant. So learning new things, doing new things, still keeping what I'm really good at, which is readings and breath work and nervous system regulation, but always learning more. And I'm always open to learning more. I'm also going freediving this weekend, which is also really exciting. So life is just an adventure here in Bali. You've been, you know.
It
Really
really is,
is.
isn't it? I love how much you love Ubud. One of my friends is there at the minute, and she just said she's had no Wi-Fi all week, but
Oh,
she's just had
great.
the best time.
Yeah, we never know what's going to
So
happen.
she's just loving it. Yeah, it feels like that sort of place, and like loved it. Me and I know you met me and my friend, and we actually went and did a Kundalini yoga at the yoga
Ah,
barn on our last day, and that was just before us flying
okay.
to Australia. It was wild. Like I feel like I got to Australia and I had like a full life
Ah,
reset. I was like, what the hell is going on? It was so
the
crazy. But
energy.
yeah, I love it. I love Ubud. I love, I can't, yeah, it's beautiful. I can't wait to come back at some point. Who knows when that is,
Who
Carly,
knows? You
but
don't have to know.
I'll be back.
As we've discussed, you don't have to know. You'll be back. I feel it.
Thank you.
Of
Thank you.
course.
Thank you. It's so lovely to hear. Well, I'm so grateful for you coming on the podcast. Obviously, I will leave in the show notes where people can find you, but it's always nice for you to say as well. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, you're so welcome. So you can find me on Instagram. My handle is Consciously Carly, or you can find me on my Stan store under the same name as well.
Yay. Well, honestly, I've loved having you on. I feel like this episode's gone so quick. I've just been sat here so intrigued. I'm surprised I wasn't sat here with my tea, like, ooh. I was just so interested.
What's going on?
But thank you so much.
I know, and I really could talk about this forever,
Yeah,
truly.
wow. It's been so lovely. And obviously, I'm really, really excited to learn more. If you're someone that's interested, I highly recommend reaching out. I think the best thing I've learned in business is to reach out for support. Like, generally, if you're interested of this episode's here, reach out and you will get, like, it's like fast track, because then you're straight to the core and you're straight to someone who's been in your sort of shoes and can help you with where you're at. So thank you so much, my love, and I will be messaging you.
You are so welcome.
Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Yes, I can't wait. I'm
Me
excited.
too. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode on the Your Girl Yaz podcast. We'll be back next Wednesday at 7 a.m. UK time, so I look forward to seeing you back here. I also have a free higher self meditation course for you to learn to meditate, to relax, to switch off, that's available for you to access now in the show notes. And also don't forget to follow the podcast wherever you're listening, rate, leave us a review. I appreciate it way more than you could ever know. Thank you so much again for listening. If you've got any feedback of the podcast, my Instagram at Yasmin Lily Hilston is also linked in the show notes, and I really appreciate it.